Today's AskReddit post. What's your best but wait, it gets worse story? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. I was a manager at a hotel in Oakland. A valet parker took a guest's Corvette out for a joyride. He lost control of the car in a residential area and crashed into a parked car in a driveway. The Corvette and the parked car smashed through the home's garage door and caught on fire. The home partially burned down. The valet was caught by the police a block away fleeing on foot with a broken leg. Credit where it's due. That guy is a tough bastard to limp around with a broken leg knowing that he'd be caught anyways. Friend of mine just lost her ex-husband and father of her child to a motorcycle accident. But wait, it gets worse. 15-year-old son had a birthday a few days after the accident. Gift arrived in the mail day of the birthday. His father had gotten him motorcycle lessons. Just heartbreaking. Ouch. Got rear-ended by a truck. Pulled over to check my trunk on a hilly street. A car parked behind me rolled downhill and crushed me between it and my newly messed up trunk. Suffered some cracked ribs. Ouch. Oof. Crunch. Ow. Snap. A co-worker of mine, we'll call Andy, had a brother we'll call Mike. Mike's wife died from cancer, leaving Mike and his 2 kids who were around 5 and 7 years old. But wait, it gets worse. Overcome with grief, Mike ended up killing himself, leaving behind his 2 kids. But wait, it gets worse. Andy had to sue his own parents to get custody of Mike's kids due to several issues with the grandparents. But wait, it gets worse. Andy's wife died suddenly, leaving Andy to take care of Mike's 2 kids and his 2 kids around the same age. This all happened over a 3-year span. Edit. Just a minor clarity adjustment. Andy is a good guy for taking on Mike's kids. I would say that's an understatement. If I saw his GoFundMe, I'd throw a mitzvah his way. I'm sorry, but what do you mean by this? I worked in an operating room and was on call. Arriving at the hospital, checked in with the doc and patient in pre-op. At least once per year we get someone with something stuck in their ass. The young man was there with his mom and sister, who explained the dildo got stuck Friday night, but that their grandma was sick, so they waited until Sunday to bring him to the hospital so he could see her. Then per usual, the family and patient is asked if they have any questions before we take him back. Mom says yeah. While he's in there, can you test him for STDs? His sister tested positive and was operating the dildo, so we want to make sure. I have so many questions, none of which I want to know the answer to. Deep down I think we already know the answers and they all have something to do with large appliances. Wait, what? Without giving me the questions. Can you just tell me the answers? LOL. I was in a rush because I woke up late. I then stubbed my toe really badly on the table. I had to rush to the embassy to get my passport done. I almost finished the 3-hour drive to get there when I realized I forgot all the documents I needed for my passport. Wish me luck. I am having it tomorrow. Hope things go well for you. Good luck, my dude. Was raped. Then didn't get my period again for another 3 months. Oh my god. Oh my god. My grandmother died on Thanksgiving Day in front of the whole family. My grandmother had gotten diagnosed with brain cancer about 6 months prior, and knowing that she was in hospice care, much of the family decided to come visit for one last Thanksgiving, even though she was unconscious in the next room. The entire day, the cooking was going on despite grandma's condition, and teenage me spent many hours salivating over a whole roasted pig being barbecued outside in place of a turkey. I was pretty stoked. Just as the sizzling pig is being taken off the barbecue, the hospice nurse sticks her head outside and announces that it's time. My grandmother at this exact moment is passing away. We all go inside, gather around the bed, and for 45 minutes or so, I watch as my grandmother gasps for air, twitches and dies. It was a little traumatic. For some reason after that, we decide we are going to still sit down and eat dinner. I'm watching the barbecue pig be chopped up, and as I'm thinking I can probably still get myself to eat some of it, they douse it all in vinegar and chili flakes, ruining it. So as I try to choke down this enormous disappointment, after watching my grandmother die, the morticians come and wheel her body out through the living room, and at that point, I was pretty much done. Not to make light of your grandma's passing, bless her soul, but the real crime here was what they did to that roasted pig. Vinegar and chili flakes? Horrible. I don't get it. Vinegar and chili flakes are major components in the sauce I make for pulled or chopped pork. It's the best. I like all sorts of BBQ sauce, but always eat my own pulled pork with only that. I mean, the pork can't be swimming in it, but being in NC, everyone that has tried mine likes it more than any local joint. Yes, the only way to do pulled pork. A woman I know got divorced just days after her wedding because she discovered that her new husband had an affair. But wait, it gets worse. She found out because apparently he cheated on the wedding with his affair, who also was invited. They were busted by the father of the bride. You have to be a special kind of scumbag to cheat on your wedding day. It really takes another level of a trash human being to do that. But it's the last day I'll ever get to be a free man woman. As if you weren't in a relationship for however long it was leading up to the wedding. The moment you start a relationship, you stop being what those people call a free person. Unless it is an open relationship. Both you and your partner are okay with you having affairs. You know, those things I'll never understand. When I was 6 years old, the natural gas detector alarm kept going off, so my mom had to call the fire department to check if there was any dangerous natural gases. The fire department came and basically scientifically told my mom that her constant farting kept setting it off. I had to remove my wisdom tooth in a really cheap dental clinic. The dentist has an eye problem in which she removes my tooth besides my wisdom tooth instead of my wisdom tooth with manual equipment. Removing one tooth is almost an hour. She then removes the not my wisdom tooth, and as soon as she realizes her mistake, she then began on my real wisdom tooth. But as soon as she started working on it, the anesthesia began to wear off. At the end, I have to get a huge stitch on the site of not my wisdom tooth was supposed to be, and I have to go on my first day of work on Monday. Surgery happened on a Friday. Sue for malpractice. Yahoo TF takes the wrong tooth. Lady has been huffing her own supply. Yahoo TF takes the wrong tooth. The tooth fairy did that to me once. I woke up all bloody in the mouth. One molar gone. But the damned assiduous dental doll was still under my pillow and no geld was to be found. Last year, March, my mill dies after lingering from a stroke for a few months. April, doctor sees something on mammogram and son is hospitalized for suicidal thoughts. May, testing and diagnosed with breast cancer. June, July and August, surgery and treatment for breast cancer. They got it all. August, Phil dies from lung cancer. October, son tries to hang himself and is in the hospital for 8 days. He is doing better now. This year, the same son has been in 2 car accidents. Neither his fault. One does 17k in damage to his brand new car. And my sister just died last week. Well shit. I'm so sorry. Was on Tinder and met this girl. We talked for a bit and decided to exchange snaps. A few snaps and I find out she has a kid. We are both 18. But wait, it gets worse. I find out she's not 18 like her profile but actually 15. But wait, it gets worse. I tell her we cannot talk at all and she says age isn't a problem, my baby daddy is 21. And that's when I decided Tinder wasn't for me. I work in the care of the disabled. One fine morning, I go up the stairs to wake a resident. I see a nice little turd on the ground. I sweat a bit at myself. But I'm thinking at least the person who did this didn't step into it and smear it everywhere. It's just a nice little dollop. I run downstairs to get gloves, bucket etc, and I'm gone for literally 2 minutes. I get back upstairs and the nice little dollop is now a flat pancake. And there are footprints. I follow the footprints. They lead into a bedroom. I knock on the door and open it. Inside, one of my residents is furiously washing his slippers with his bare hands, cleaning off the shit he stepped in. When he spots me, he starts yelling at me about that little fat bitch who's always shitting and pissing on the floor. I just lost it at that point. The image of him washing up his slipper Mumbling to himself and getting into a rage still makes me laugh. Cleanup was a bit more than I'd wanted, but not the worst I have ever seen. Better to laugh about these things than to get angry. It's great that one of the old people was known as the floor shitter. Like, get some goddamn depends. The resident floor shitter pisser is a very little old but not that old lady who had polio as a kid and is now severely mentally disabled. No diapers because most of the time it's still okay and diapers are costly and these people will become dependent on them. Not going to the actual bathroom at all anymore. It's a psyche thing. So we just take the occasional floor urine or dollop of fesses. Part of the job. Christ, I couldn't clean up another person's poop. Dog poo is bad enough but human is worse. To be honest, I much rather clean it off the floor than directly from the person. You get used to it. Some co-workers don't even glove up for it. Not me though. I think they are ducking crazy. Not sure if it's my best but it's the first one that came to mind. Messed up at trick skateboarding. Air in half pipe. Landed with the toes of my back foot off the board. They caught on the ground and my foot twisted. Dislocated my ankle. As my foot continued to turn, the bones in my ankle got jammed against the bones in my leg. So I broke off the end of one of my leg bones too. Fibula. 3 days in hospital. Metal plate and 9 screws. One of the screws broke later. Sometimes my back foot doesn't land on the board, but the front does. I think we can all agree that's a pretty bad way to go out. I had a root canal a few years ago. In 2018 I was eating something and the tooth cracked and was hanging off my gum. Thought that I'd just need to get it removed and that was that. Well, the roots couldn't get taken out so I was referred to the dental center at the hospital. Thought I'd just need to wait. Oh no. I experienced extreme pain and after an x-ray, there was this black shadow in my tooth. Turns out the infection was pressing down on the main nerve in my face straight from the brain. I had to go to my GP and get antibiotics and they still didn't help. Was in agony for a month straight until the hospital luckily had an opening early to get the roots removed. Worst pain I've ever felt. I was widowed. 30 days later, my sister was also widowed and I lost my brother-in-law of 30 years. 3 weeks later, my dad went missing, as he had diagnosed dementia and we didn't find him for 2 days. And when we did, he was almost 1,000 miles away in another state. 3 weeks after getting him home and settled, my dear friend was murdered in a mass shooting. Shittiest 10 weeks of my life. So sorry for you and your family's losses. I hope you're all well now. Thank you. This was a few years ago and we are all managing well. I've had a stuffed Donald Trump dog toy for almost 4 years now. I refuse to give it to my dogs until he does the worst thing he'll do as president, knowing that my dogs will shred any stuffed toy within hours. At least once a month since 2016. I have had to stop and consider whether things will get worse with him or not. I have consistently decided it could get worse. Hindsight has consistently shown me that I was right. He wants to postpone the elections. I think your dog deserves it. He's down 4 points in Florida, so now he thinks there is voter fraud and wants to postpone the election. Which I don't even know if a president can do that. He can't, thankfully. The Constitution is very clear about it. He's also not supposed to personally profit from his position. But we know how well the administration is adhering to that law and how well it's being enforced. Went hiking with my parents along the beach to a nature preserve. It was lightly drizzling, so kind of fun. Then my mom had the wonderful idea to walk back to the hotel next to the highway, saying it would continue to drizzle and that there is no way that this will not end badly. The clouds opened up and unleashed hell. Something similar happened to me. I was walking back from uni in a light drizzle. I figured I could do the 10-minute walk like that. Then suddenly, hailstorm. I got home soaking and angry after being pelted by those frozen bastards for 10 whole minutes. That sounds worse tbh. The entirety of Russian history is sorta like that. I can really recommend you to read about the journey of the 2nd Pacific Squadron. Drechinaful did a great documentary about it. 3 AM some dogs attacked my rescue cat. He wasn't dead but needed to be put down. I find my other rescue cat and toss her in the house. Then speed off to the vet. I come back to bury my cat. Open the door and the other rescue cat is eating my rescue blue jay through the cage. My 2020. January I found out I was autoimmune gluten intolerant. February I was plagued with an outdoor roach infestation. March I was hit by a car by a lady on her phone. Unrecoverable spinal injuries. April I found out my wife was cheating on me. May I found out I owe $600k in bills from the accident. The person who hit me had terrible insurance that will only cover about $10k worth. June I found out my dog has fleas and it's been hell trying to get rid of them. July I got a call from my doctor about my scans in March. They think it's stage IV metastatic lung cancer. But my PCP never read the notes and followed up with me. August, I should find out the results of the confirmation scans next week. I don't want to die. I am sorry. That's truly a lot for one person. I still have to say that being hit by that car might have been a lucky event in a way. My best friend fell in love with an Indian guy during college. They dated for 2 years and graduated together. Planned on a future and everything. He had a wife back in India. He had 2 graduation parties. One to be attended by each girlfriend and a completely different set of family and friends. But wait, there's more. He decides he wants to break up with his wife and try to make it in America. So the wife flies to his city to stalk him. She ends up getting drunk and breaking into his apartment to pee on his living room floor while ranting about how perfect they would be for each other. Went on vacation to visit Sil. I drive all night to get there. Wife and her sister are ecstatic to see each other. I felt a pain in my butt. Go to use the restroom, find a cyst on my butt cheek. Wife was a CNA and Sil is a LPN, so they check it, say it's draining, it should be fine. We head back and it's still draining. I drive myself to the thinking it needs to be cut out. Our intern agrees. They prep me. Attending comes in, looks at it, says get the portable ultrasound. Looks at it, says it's not a simple cut, this needs surgery. Get prepped for surgery and have a friend pick up my wife because I'll let her sleep as it was 3 AM. I go into surgery. Come out of surgery and I'm in very intense pain. Find out I have Fournier's gangrene and they had to remove 70% of my right buttock. I need to have another surgery the next day. Next day I wake from surgery to find out I need another surgery the next day. This happened 5 times. I had 5 surgeries in 5 days because the gangrene kept spreading. All because of a diabetes medication I was prescribed. Lost 90% of my right buttock, had a 4-inch hole in my perineum that ran up the side of my testicles and they had to remove part of my scrotum. Holy shit, I've spent a long time reading through these comments and this might be the winner, by my measure. Woke up to pee in the middle of the night. Didn't turn on the lights so no one would wake up. Slipped and fell in dog piss. Landed on my knees so hard I passed out from the sudden onset pain. The thud of my fall woke up my husband. He found me passed out laying halfway in the toilet bowl. I was in a car accident because of a spider. No other car was involved. The driver stopped the car at the top of a hill and opened her door so the passenger could crawl over her and get out. But the driver was accidentally pushed out of the car and ran over her own leg. And then the car quickly gained speed down the steep hill with no one at the wheel. And we eventually crashed into some trees. Afterwards I got out to check on my friend who ran herself over and then went back to the car to check on my other friend. And when I had my head in the car window, I didn't realize the spider got onto my head and it crawled onto my face and bit me. I'm sorry. I laughed so hard imaging all of this. I hope the bite wasn't too crazy. I totally understand the spider thing though. I once noticed a giant spider on my mirror and since I didn't have time to get rid of it safely, I just opted to fold and not use the driver's side mirror. I was working a golf tournament in the baking heat an hour from my house. Like this was one of those days the supervisor had us switch positions every 20 minutes so we didn't die of heat stroke playing mini golf with kids. It survived the entire day. And then I had plans to get dinner with my boyfriend, who worked close by. So I continued not to use my driver's side mirror. Drove there, called him to come down and had him murder the crap out of it with equal parts pressurized air, water, And his shoes. It took it a while to die even then. Haha. No, it's funny. We laugh about it now. My friend who basically caused the accident was the passenger who accidentally pushed the driver out of the car trying to get away from the spider. I didn't take arachnophobia seriously until this point, and when I came back to the car to check on her, instead of asking if our friend, whose leg was run over, was okay, she said, "Is it dead?" And the spider bit me as I was yelling at her. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.